Value equations. Let's get started. The absolute value of a number is the number of units it is from 0 on the number line. We use the symbol with the 2 bars and X in the middle to represent the absolute value of a number. So here are some examples. Find each absolute value. The absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of -7 is 7. The absolute value of 2 is 2. The absolute value of -2 is 2. And the absolute value of x equal to 2 gives us two results. X could either be 2 or x could be -2. So our first equation says the absolute value of the sum of k plus 6 is equal to 9. I have two ways I could solve this equation to find my solution. K plus 6 equals 9, or negative times the sum of k plus 6 is equal to 9. I have to have two options because inside my absolute value bars, the value could equal 9 or -9 because the absolute value of 9 is the same as the absolute value of -9 because they are both 9 units away from 0. So you will have to account for the positive aspect as well as the negative aspect of this absolute value equation. So let's solve the left side. K is equal to 3. I take my value and I plug it back into my absolute value bars to ensure that it actually works. Is this indeed a solution to my absolute value equation? 3 plus 6 is equal to 9, and both sides of my equation match. So k equals to 3 is a solution. On the right side, I'm going to have to distribute the negative to k and the negative to 6. So this leaves me with -k minus 6 is equal to 9. My next step is to add 6 to both sides of my equation and then divide by -1. This gives me a result of k is equal to -15. I do the same as before. I take my solution and plug it back into my original absolute value equation. Does -15 plus 6 give us an absolute value of 9? It does. So I know the solution set to this equation is 3 and -15. Here's my next equation. 5x minus 4 is equal to -6. I account for both the positive aspect and the negative aspect of this equation. I add 4 to both sides of my equal sign, and then I divide by 5. And my result is x is equal to -2/5. Now I take my solution and plug it back into my original absolute value equation. Do these two values equal? No, they do not, because the absolute value of a negative number is going to give us a positive value. So 6 does not equal -6. On the right side, I distribute my negative to the 5x and the -4, which gives me a result of -5x plus 4 is equal to -6. I subtract 4 from both sides of my equal sign, and then I divide by -5 on both sides of my equal sign. So x is equal to 2. I take my value and plug it back into my original absolute value equation. Do the two sides of the equal sign match? Is this a solution? 10 minus 4, the absolute value of that, is going to be a positive 6. So this is what we call a no solution. Though we were able to solve it, it does not satisfy the equation, meaning it does not give us a true result when we plug our solutions back into the original problem. Therefore, there is no solution. Here we have the absolute value of the sum of 8 plus p is equal to 2p minus 3. Go ahead and pause your video and work the problem, and then resume to see if you solved it correctly. Remember, when you solve absolute value equations, you have to account for both the positive and negative result. Here are the answers. Our next problem says 4 times the absolute value of the difference of 2y minus 7 plus 5 is equal to 9. Go ahead and pause the video and see if you can solve it correctly. Remember, we still treat this like solving equations, so you want to make sure you do the first step correctly. Here are the results. Remember, if you have any questions, please make sure to jot them down in your notes, and we can talk about them in class. Thanks for watching.